Hi guys, Rose here with the Cackling Moon. This is going to be a video about my top 7 healing decks. And they're my current ones, my present healing decks that I'm just really resonating with, and I thought I would share it with all of you guys. I get asked every once in a while about, especially for people who are new to reading the tarot or oracle, and they will ask, I'm on a journey, I'm learning more about myself, what deck would you recommend? So there's certain decks that I personally feel are really great for certain types of readings. And if you are on a journey where you are healing or you are attempting to begin the healing process from a very tumultuous past, this is a video you're going to want to watch. So I collected 7 decks, and I have 3 tarot decks and 4 oracle decks. I feel like when you're on the healing journey, the path to learning about yourself and to learn about, forgiveness, I feel like oracle decks really take the lead. Tarot can have a healing energy to it. I feel like if you combine tarot with oracle, you get a stronger sense of healing. But there are a couple tarot decks that I personally felt really strong in my own healing journey, which I will share. But I do feel like oracle decks are perfect for that process. So if you are an oracle deck reader, you would probably already know and understand what I'm talking about. But let's get started. So I guess I will get the tarot out of the way since I have an extra oracle deck to show you guys. So the first one is the Lioness Oracle Tarot. And the Lioness Oracle Tarot is a beautiful 78 card deck. It's created by Alejandra Leon of the Lioness Oracle. Okay, I purchased this one straight from her website. It's an indie deck, so it's personally created by her. Beautiful deck. Very intuitive, but the reason why it gave me the healing, just the healing vibe, is the energy of the flowers. Okay, so to me, flower energy is very healing. It's very relaxing. It's very really soft and just really feminine in my opinion. And I feel like the deck itself just has that glow to it. It's very just raw because it's her own artwork. You'll see what I mean. But just the feeling of it made me feel more in touch with my feminine side, more in touch with being a woman, more in touch with my feelings. So I feel like this deck I really connected with because going in my own journey, in my own personal path with accepting myself, self-love, self-acceptance, being comfortable in my own skin, this deck really it did it for me. So the backs of the cards, as you could see, there's like a galaxy theme throughout all of the cards, and then the backs have a bunch of just different colored roses. So very feminine, very just soft energy, very forgiving energy. And then the deck itself is done in a collage. Okay, so most of the cards have that galaxy background, and then they're done in a collage setting, as you can see. It does not follow the Rider-Waite theme. It's really the artist's own her own interpretation of the cards and her own artwork to symbolize that. Okay, so that's what makes this deck so personal, because you're really just connecting with the imagery, but also it's very emotion connection. When I read with this deck, I'm not really reading based on generalities of, this is the general term of this card, this is the general term of that. I'm really reading from the heart and what my emotion, what is my feeling when I see the deck. Okay, so it's a beautiful deck, very, very, very flowy with just flowers and the universe theme. But I really feel like it's just a beautiful healing deck. Some of the imagery on the cards is just show-stopping. Let's see. Like the Seven of Pentacles. You have a woman who's covered by a butterfly and then the flowers and the coins all around her. It's kind of like this card, like this image can speak to me in a certain way based on my emotions at that time. But for someone else, it's going to speak, you know, say something different. This one was one of my favorites. Very just filled with emotion. You can't not feel anything when you look at these cards. Very intuitive though. Like I said, they don't follow the Rider-Waite theme. Very different, but just a very different deck. It's one of those where you bring it out and people who are used to seeing the typical Rider-Waite deck will see something like this and they'll be like, ooh, what is that? The sides of the deck are gold. So it has like that really, just that real regal, rich, royal feel to it. And the cardstock on the deck is very smooth. It's almost like it's matte, but it's not completely matte. Like it still has a nice sheen to it. Very smooth deck. It reminds me a lot of the Star Child Tarot, but not as soft as Star Child Tarot. The cards themselves they're rather large. Okay, compared to your typical tarot size, they're rather large. As you can see with my hand. And they shuffle lovely, but they are hard to shuffle if you have small hands. So I usually do a side shuffle when I'm shuffling these cards, or the overhand, because shuffling the riffle shuffle just doesn't work for me. But beautiful deck. So that is the Lioness Oracle Tarot. Okay. And I'll list these decks in my description, the description portion of this video. So if any of you guys are curious about what decks I'm showing, check the description box. Okay, next we have the Syrian Starseed Tarot. As you can see, I keep a lot of the guidebooks with my decks when I put them in the deck bags, because especially the Syrian Starseed, just some of the definitions of some of these cards that the artist put are just amazing. So this one is by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha. The Syrian Starseed Tarot spoke to me because I have a very prominent connection with the extraterrestrial and just space and the universe and astrology. I've grown up with it around me a lot. I grew up with a UFO experience. I have family members with UFO experiences. I've just always been interested. I've always loved the pyramids, which the fact that there's a pyramid shape on the back of the deck really attracted me to it. And then the galaxy theme. I just love the galaxy theme. I'm gonna end the video real fast. Sorry guys. So I think because I'm doing an update on Skype, since I have 2 Skype appointments today, that's causing the video to kind of jump. So I'm hoping that the video isn't ruined, because it was jumping a little bit while I was filming, but I'm just gonna wing it and see how it goes. So anyway, sorry about that. So what I was saying was I just have a really tight connection with the universe, the astrology, aliens, all of that kind of stuff. So the Syrian Starseed Tarot it's amazing how I did not obtain it in my collection earlier, but when I opened this deck, and I bought it used, by the way, I buy a lot of my cards used, I could feel just the energy from the deck as if that person handed it to me. It was very powerful. It was like I came home, if that makes any sense. I just felt like this was a deck that needed to be in my collection, that it needed to work with me. I needed to work with it. I felt very connected. Like I said, I felt like I came home, and I really wanted to do a whole ritual of just connecting with the cards. So what I tend to do when I want to do that is I deck mod. So what I did was I actually cut the borders off of the cards. They used to have a chunky white border around around this. I cut that off, and then I went ahead and blacked out the sides so that they're completely black, so you can kind of see the lines a little bit. But they're completely black, and I think it just looks amazing. It looks so, just so strong. The energy of this deck is definitely masculine in my opinion. I feel very masculine energy. I feel like it touches into my masculine energy. I feel like I said, I feel like I'm home when I'm using it. Like I'm connecting with my, you know, my extraterrestrial spirit guide. I just feel very connected. Okay. The reason why, that's basically the reason why it felt like such a healing deck to me, because I feel like home. I feel like I'm at home when I'm using it. It just feels familiar. Okay. The cards themselves really speak to me about messages of past lives, especially those who have past life on other planets. I feel like this isn't one of my spirit guides. Like, he just resembles him so much. But I feel like it's also just a connection to your spiritual journey. So this is definitely a deck that I would pull out for those who are struggling with their spiritual journey, struggling with their past lives, or wanting to figure out where they're from. This is definitely a deck that I would use to connect with your soul. Like, where did your soul begin? I use this for the Starseed reading and the Stardust reading that I have in my shop. So it's just beautiful. Okay. Look at this one, this alien guy. So it's very like intergalactic. So if you're into that kind of stuff, if you feel at home when you're, you know, reading or talking about aliens, this is probably a tarot deck you may want to check out. There's so many other ones out there that I have yet to obtain in my collection. Otherwise I would show you guys. But for some reason, this one hits home. So this is the Syrian Starseed Tarot. And yeah, definitely a deck. So the Lioness Oracle Tarot I would use for love readings, for personal self-love readings, for getting in touch with your femininity. The Syrian Starseed Tarot I would use, like I said, for spiritual journeys, for past life readings, for your soul connection, that kind of stuff. And then the last tarot deck I have to show is the Wild Unknown. This is the second edition. But the Wild Unknown Tarot is, to me, the deck that I connected with when I was going through a really hard time last year. It is the deck that I used while I was grieving. It is a very comforting grandmother energy deck. It just swallows you up with love. So this one is very powerful, and for the longest time I would only read for myself with this deck until recently I just connected all over again, and I have been reading for clients with this deck, and it's just been powerful. So it's amazing how you see yourself grow from the journey. So let's see, I want to pull some. The cards themselves are very intuitive. Again, it's a deck that does not follow the Rider-Waite. Very, you know, has the energies of animals, which I feel is amazing because animal energy is very strong. I'm very connected to animals. I love animals. And I just think that it's just powerful. The way that this deck makes you feel, it's like that grandmother that's giving you that wise wisdom of advice, as well as just your heart being able to heal from some of the most raw feelings and experiences in your life. So it just has that blend, and it's beautiful. So I would read for this, with this deck, I would read for clients who are asking me questions about their life, their future, clients who are grieving. I would use this one for sure. Also for myself, this is definitely a deck that I pull out when I want to read for myself. But I have read with this deck for multiple questions like love, career, and it's always given me decent answers. But it will always be the deck that I go to for grieving or for just broken hearts, relationships that break up, that kind of thing. It's definitely a deck I use for my forgiveness reading as well. So, okay, so those are the tarots. Now let's talk about the oracle decks. Since we're on the theme of Kim Kranz, she also created the Animal Spirit Oracle. So as you can see, the backs look very similar to the Wild Unknown. The Animal Spirit Oracle is also an animal themed deck. And I feel this one is very healing because the animals, the messages of the animals and the messages in the guidebook, this is a deck you need to have the guidebook for. It just speaks to your soul. I don't know how else to put it. It just helps you get through your journey. It helps you get through a rough time. I mean, this is a deck you could pull one card, read the message, and it'll totally fit with what you're feeling. There's unicorns also. There's all sorts of animals. The horse. The crocodile. So it's simple. It has a simple image of the animal, their element, because she's very big on elements and all of that. So if you love animals, if you're looking for a really good oracle deck, that's simple, that is very, it just touches your soul, it has really deep meanings, totally pick up the Animal Spirit Oracle and the guidebook. You will not be disappointed. And Kim Kranz has, like, I love this card, the Oyster card. Kim Kranz has her own style with the way she draws. Her artwork is beautiful. It's very, like, watercolory and just hand drawn. It's beautiful. So I think a lot of you guys can appreciate that. Next we have the what is this one called? The Soulful Woman Oracle. This one came into my possession, I want to say, about a month and a half ago. The Soulful Woman Oracle, again, is one of those oracle decks that touches on women, being a woman, being empowered, being liberated, being free, your femininity, your feminine energy, and also just your soul journey and finding your life purpose. This deck is all about that. So I highly recommend it for those of you who are looking for self-love type cards, who are looking for cards that will help guide you through your future, through your soul's journey. Soulful Woman Oracle is a beautiful one. The images just, they pop, they're beautiful, colorful, the messages are very empowering. So let's see. We have asking opens a pathway. When I ask questions of my inner being, I discover that beautiful and helpful answers always come to me. So it's one of those decks where, like, you'll pull a card, you'll read the message. How does it pertain to you, your day, the advice it's trying to give you, that kind of thing? It's beautiful. So I highly recommend. I love pulling this one out for self-love readings, and for readings for people who are just looking to uplift themselves. Positive readings, like those things, that kind of stuff. This is the one that I go for. And it's funny because I keep it in this cute little Ewok phone case craft that one of my coworkers made for me. So he's kind of cute, but it fits perfectly in it, like perfect. So it was meant to be. Next we have this pencil case I found at Target, by the way. It's super cute, and I thought it would be perfect to house my color cards. So these are the Color Gypsy deck of color. And you could find these also through, I believe, Color Gypsy. I think that's her name. On Instagram, she has the link to her website. They're also, it's an indie deck. And I bought these cards in the Oracle size, so they're much larger. They were actually even bigger than this. But I wasn't liking the size. So what I did was I trimmed them down and I re-rounded the edges. But knowing now how I would have seen the cards as big as they are, I would have bought the tarot size. So those of you guys who are not into larger decks because of the size, I totally recommend to buy these in the tarot size. She has them in tarot and oracle size, so just a heads up. So the backs have stars on them, and then each card has a color with a word or phrase that goes to it. So this one says Passion Energy Boost. This is Stay Neutral. Empath and intuitive. So I feel like I've used these cards for everything, every single reading, whether it's a future reading, love, career, past life. These cards can do everything. They are beautiful. They can give you insight for any kind of question. So that's why I think I love it so much, and that's why I feel like it's such a healing deck, because the affirmations that come with the cards really make you think. And it's really scary how it's so, like how it touches base on something that you really needed to hear at that right time. So totally recommend a color deck. There's other color decks too, but this one's my favorite right now. There's also the Secret Language of Color, but I totally recommend a color deck for anyone who loves to read Oracle, because I just think it's different. They give you a whole new perspective. If you love working with colors and associating colors with emotions and, you know, certain situations, you know, it's a really cool, different way to read. So highly recommend. And then last but not least, this is another pencil case that I bought, by the way. I love these, especially since school is starting. Pencil cases are amazing to hold your decks. So the last one I have to show is my Native Spirit Oracle. And this one, the backs look like this. I completely connected with this deck. One of my friends that is at the shop, she had this deck, and I was looking through it. I read for myself with it. I connected. I was like, I have to have this. And at the time, I was experiencing a lot of like Native American energies and just feeling really connected to it. And that same week when I got this deck, I actually connected with a Native American spirit guide. So it was like one of those synchronicities. I just listened to my heart. I purchased the deck because I felt connected. And then the next thing I know, I'm like full-blown meeting a brand new spirit guide. So it's really cool how that worked out. I also bonded with this deck too. So I did a little deck mod with it. I colored the edges with a gold Sharpie paint. I want to say it was, I'm not really sure, pen paint, or I don't know. You can't really tell. It doesn't look super gold. It's kind of more like a copper. I don't know. It's not as gold as I thought it would be, but it looks nice in person. I think on camera it looks kind of weird. So anyways, the cards themselves it's very Native American inspired. So I know that there's certain people that may not connect with that or may not like that. They might feel a little like uncomfortable working with a deck like this, but it speaks to my soul. I have Native American blood in my ancestry, so I feel like that's why I had that connection with my spirit guide. And it's just a powerful deck. Even if you're working with it and you're reading from the guidebook, it's so crazy how the messages in the guidebook really just resonate with that issue that you're going through. It really makes you think. This is the deck I also use along with the Wild Unknown for my forgiveness readings, and I've done a couple of them already, which have been really powerful. And I just think that I don't know, there's just something about it. There's just something about this deck. I love it. So it's healing to me because it touches your soul. It is a soul deck. It's deep. And if you're not ready to tap into that area yet, this may not be the deck for you, but it's deep. It touches deep. So just putting it out there. All right, you guys. Well, those are my top 7 healing decks. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you were introduced to something new. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you are interested in a personal reading with me, check out the links in the description box, and I will see you guys later.